Now, the biggest winner of the first round of the 2025 NFL draft to me was the Atlanta Falcons. For nearly 2 decades, the Falcons have been the worst team in the NFL at getting after the quarterback. They haven't had a good pass rusher since John Abraham. I don't know how many of you guys remember him. You got to be an OG Falcons fan to remember John Abraham. And the last time they had a guy who had double-digit sacks in the season is when they choked that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl to New England when they had Vic Beasley, who had 15 and a half sacks that year, and he was an all-pro selection. You get Jalen Walker, 15th overall, with your first pick and day one, which Jalen Walker, to get him at that range was a pretty good selection, considering that he brings you a lot of versatility. Not only can he play on the interior of your defensive line, but he also can play outside linebacker as well. And then you trade back into the first round late with the Rams to get James Pierce Jr., who to me was one of the better overall players coming into this draft class. He made a lot of big plays for Tennessee's defense last year. Not only was he impactful getting after the quarterback, but he also came away with a lot of forced fumbles. I remember watching him against Florida. He had a big forced fumble in the red zone during that game, which ultimately led to Tennessee walking away with the win. And yeah, you did kind of give up a lot to get him. You give the Rams a second, a 7-rounder, and a first-round pick for next year's draft, but it was worth it because now you brought in 2 edge rushers that one of these guys should end up being really good. And you have a pass rusher out of Washington that you drafted last year that got injured early before the season even started that I feel can also be pretty good for you as well. So the Atlanta Falcons, with these 2 selections of Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., you have improved what has been your biggest Achilles heel defensively for over 2 decades now. And they say it's a quarterback-driven league. And if you want to be able to stop these opposing quarterbacks, you got to be able to get after them. You got Jalen Walker, James Pierce, guys that even if they don't pop off right away in year one, ultimately they should blossom into pretty good pass rushers. I think James Pierce has the higher upside of the 2 since primarily he has played a lot of edge, and Jalen Walker is more of a versatile chess piece, so we don't really know how Raheem Morris plans on utilizing him. But remember, when Raheem Morris was the Rams defensive coordinator before he took this Falcons head coaching gig, he did a great job of getting the most out of the Rams' young talent that year. So if there's anybody who could help these guys reach their full potential and do it relatively early, it is Raheem Morris. He is a defensive-minded coach. The defense was the worst side of the ball for Atlanta. I expect for one of these guys to be a Pro Bowl level player. Can both of them end up being Pro Bowl level players? Absolutely, but at least James Pierce or Jalen Walker is going to give you at least 8-9 sacks in their rookie season. I'm pretty confident in that. I think that James Pierce has the better chance at doing so since I've just seen more of him since I've seen Jalen Walker. But you also finally ended this strange habit the Falcons have had of not drafting Georgia players, which it doesn't make a lot of sense since Athens, Georgia is literally right down the street from Atlanta. They play in the Mercedes-Benz Dome in the SEC Championship. So I don't get why it has taken so long for the Falcons to finally crack the top off the bottle, diving into the bevy of riches that Georgia produces on defense. When you drive a Georgia defensive lineman, a pass rusher, they normally turn into really good players. The Eagles seem to always get the best ones. Some of them haven't really worked out, but Georgia, for the most part, produces really good talent up front. So my biggest winner of the first round of this past year's NFL draft are the Atlanta Falcons because their biggest need, they addressed it. Getting 2 of the better pass rushers in the first round of this draft is an absolute win for them.